Welcome back to our class on wisdom literature. This time we're talking about the Song of Songs.
Tonga soa tandray eto amin'ny literatura pahendrena amin'ny trimindray torakty dia ny tononkirany Solomona no jerentsika.
Some will call it the Song of Songs and others call it the Song of Solomon.
Sasany miantso any boky hoe tononkirany hira ary ny sasany miantso azy hoe tononkirany Solomona.
The Hebrews call it the Song of Songs
Ny Hebreo dia miantso anazy hoe tononkirany hira.
because in Hebrew grammar, to say Song of Songs means it's the best poetry there is.
Satria amin'ny Hebreo ny famerenana amin'ny teny indroa dia miteny hoe midika hoe tena tsara indrindra.
Because Hebrew doesn't use words like best or biggest.
Satria ny teny Hebreo tsy mampiasa teny tahaka ny hoe ny tsara indrindra, avo lenta.
So if they're wanting to show that it is something greater, then they will use the word twice.
Ka raha ohatra izy ka te haneho hoe tena tsara be sy lafatra dia averiny indroa fotsiny ny teny.
Like the greatest of all kings, they call the King of Kings.
Ka ohatra hoe ny mpanjaka lehibe indrindra dia ataony hoe mpanjaka ny mpanjaka.
So this is the best song, and they call it the Song of Songs.
Ary ity no tononkira tsara indrindra ka natsoiny hoe tononkira ny hira.
We started calling it the Song of Solomon because his name occurs 6 times.
Isika dia miantso amin'ny boky hoe tononkirany Solomona satria miverina inenina ny anaran'ny Solomona.
It's not written by Solomon.
Tsy Solomona akory no nanoratra azy.
In fact, Solomon isn't even really a character in the story.
En effet, Solomona raha tsy karaktera ato amin'ity boky ity akory.
But his name occurs as, again, the one who is wise.
Fa ny anarany kosa dia miverina hoe izy dia olona endry.
We don't know exactly when it was written.
Tsy fantatra mazava tsara hoe tamin'ny oviana no nosoratana ny boky.
There are some portions of the Song of Songs that is very ancient.
Sasany amin'ny soratra ato amin'ny tononkirany Solomona dia hita hoe tena efa tranainy be.
And then there are some that are more recent.
Ary ny sasany dia plutôt récent.
But we know that it came to look like this sometime after the exile.
Fa fantatritsika fa dia ohatr'izao ny firafitriny taty aorianany fahababoana.
And the exile, of course, was when they were in Babylon in the 500s BC.
Ary ny fahababoana moa dia fantatritsika fa tany Babilôna tamin'ny taona 500 BC.
And the thing about the Hebrews is that they can take all these different poems and edit them into a single unit.
Ny zavatra fantatritsika ny amin'ny Hebreo dia zareo mahay maka soratra avy amin'ny collection maro samihafa ary mahay mandravona azy ho unité anankiray.
Like we talked about with the Pentateuch, they edited together at least 4 different elements.
Tahaka ny nanamboarany zareo ny nanavolavolainy zareo ny Pentateuch natambany ho ray ireo soratra maro samihafa.
So we know that there were probably 30 different poems inside here.
Ka fantatritsika zany fa eo amin'ny karazana poésie 30 no voatambatra ato amin'ity boky ny tononkirany Solomona ity.
They were all written over the many centuries.
Voasoratra miparitaka nandritry reny 100 ans reny izy.
But it winds up being a dialogue between 2 lovers.
Miafara amin'ny dialogue entre ny olona mpifankatia ny tononkirany Solomona.
That's what gives it its unity.
Zay no mampanome azy, manome azy ilay unité hoe mahatokana azy.
And it's not just that there is this dialogue between the two, but there are many other things that link it together.
Tsy hoe juste dialogue akory entre an'ireo mpifankatia ireo fa misy lien ihany koa manambatra anazy.
There are several different refrains or themes.
Misy refrain maromaro sy thème maromaro.
In chapter 2 verse 8 and in chapter 8 verse 3, it uses the image of the embrace.
Eo amin'ny toko faharoa andiny fahaenina sy ny toko fahavalo andiny fahatelo dia miresaka momba ny embrassade, ny mifaniana.
There is 3 times the urging request.
Eo ihany koa ny veriny telo ny hafatra.
And then
Fangatana.
there's also the idea of mutual possession between the two lovers.
Eo ihany koa ny hoe fananana iraisana.
In chapter 2 verse 16, it says it's the woman speaking, and she says that my lover belongs to me and I belong to him.
Tahaka ny eo amin'ny toko faharoa andiny fahaenina ambin'ny folo miteny hoe ny izy dia tia ahy ary za tia azy.
But then late in the book, it will be the man speaking, and he says the same thing.
Kanefa ny hitantsika koa ny rindrinany ilay bandy koa no miresaka dia miteny an'izay mamerina izay nitenenin'ilay ramatoa izay izy hoe ahy malalako ary za ary malalako ahy.
It's kind of an interesting thing that the book would say that.
Ohatra no ny intéressant ny fahitana izany hoe izay ny fomba irafetan'ilay rafesan'ilay bokan'ilay izy. Rafetan'ilay boky azy.
Because in these days, in the ancient world, it was the woman who was the possession.
Satria tamin'izany fotoana andro zany ny vehivavy no fananana.
But here, the man and the woman both declare that they belong to each other.
Fa eto dia hita fa ny lehilahy sy ny vavy samy manao déclaration hoe fananana iombonana.
It's an early expression of equality between men and women.
Maneho mialoha zany ny hoe mira égalité entre ny lehilahy sy ny vehivavy.
And even though society or culture may have different stations, in the marriage, they're together.
Ary raha eo amin'ny culture raha ny société manana ny firafitra ao amin'ny mariage dia eo amin'ny fanambadiana dia mitambatra.
Their love makes them equal.
Ny fifankatiavan zareo dia mampitovy azy hoe samy égalité tsisy hoe ambany na ambony.
In chapter 3 and in chapter 5, there's a dream sequence also that's used.
Eo amin'ny toko fahatelo sy ny toko fahadimy dia hitantsika indray ny nofinofy.
But there's also a bunch of images or metaphors that are used throughout the whole book.
Ao anatin'ny boky koa no ahitantsika ny métaphore na hoe sary mampitovy mampitahy.
It uses over and over again fruits and trees and gardens.
Ohatra mamerimberina izy hoe ny voankazo, ny zaridaina, ny planta, ny fofona, ranomanitra.
It also uses certain animals, especially the dove.
Biby tahaka ny voromanidina na voromailala.
There's flowers, there's precious items, there's exotic plants.
Misy voninkazo, misy biby, misy plante exotique.
And it also uses a lot of descriptions of fragrances.
Ary mampiasa description maromaro momba ny fofona isan-karazany.
Especially frankincense.
Indrindra fa ny frankincense. Ino moa ny frankincense amin'ny teny gasy? Io raha zava-manitra ary ina le fatera. Frankincense.
And then it uses certain mountains that are far away from each other.
Mampiasa koa izy tendrombohitra anankiroa izay mifanalavitra.
It talks about Mount Carmel and Mount Gilead.
Ohatra hoe tendrombohitra Karmela, tendrombohitra Gilead.
It talks about Engedi.
Ingety.
Yep. Those aren't close. So it's like these poems were from different places. The writers were from different places who wrote these poems.
Tsy tendrombohitra mifanakaiky ireo fa manambara ny hoe ny mpanoratra dia avy amin'ny toerana maro samihafa.
But there are two main characters in the book.
Karaktera anankiroa no fototra ato amin'ity boky ity.
It's the two lovers, the man and the woman.
Ireo mpifankatia dia tsy izy zany fa le rangahy le vehivavy.
But chapter 8 is the only one that's kind of confusing as to which one's doing the talking.
Ny toko fahavalo ihany no ohatrany somary compliqué satria tsy fantatra hoe iza marina moa zany am'le miresaka lehilahy sa vehivavy.
Otherwise, we always know who's talking.
Fa sinon fantatritsika foana zany hoe iza no miresaka na le lehilahy na ilay vehivavy.
And it shouldn't surprise anyone that the woman does most of the talking.
Ary tsy tokony agagantsika fa le vehivavy no tena be resaka.
But that's what also has led us to believe that maybe this whole thing was written by a woman.
Ka zay no mampatonga lay fiheverana ihany koa hoe mety vehivavy no nanoratra n'ity tononkirana Solomon ity.
As we talked about before, that there sometimes are certain words that a woman would use that a man would not use.
Efa resantsika teo aloha no hoe misy teny vocabulaire zay fampiasan'ny vehivavy zay tsy fampiasan'ny lehilahy.
There is a third character that shows up.
Misy karaktera fahatelo zay miseho ato ihany koa.
And that is the daughters of Jerusalem.
Dia tsy izy zany fa ny zanakavavin'i Jerusalema.
The daughters of Jerusalem don't really have too much of a speaking part.
Tsy tena manana rôle miresaka akory ny zanakavavin'i Jerusalema eto.
But they are spoken to by the woman especially.
Fa kosa iresahan'ilay vehivavy izy ato.
There's no reason to even recognize Solomon as a character.
Tsy mila tsindriana zany hoe Solomon ny karaktera ato, tsisy karaktera Solomon.
But the reason that Solomon is used is because the poem is making this shepherd boy a royal figure, like a king.
Fa ny antony tenenana amin'ny Solomon zany dia misy an'ilay mpiandrondry ato izay ohatrany hoe nomena karakterana mpanjaka.
She's not saying that he is Solomon, she's saying that this shepherd boy, to her, is like Solomon.
Tsy miteny akory ilay vehivavy hoe ito mpiandrondry ity dia I Solomon, fa miteny kosa izy hoe ito mpiandrondry ity dia tahaka any Solomon aminy.
So it's impossible to really understand the poem without understanding exactly who's speaking.
Ka impossible ny comprendre an'ireto poésie reto raha tsy fantatra hoe iza tokoa no miresaka.
Once we know who's doing the talking, we can understand what is really being said.
Rehefa azontsika hoe iza no miteny inona dia eo amin'izay vao tena azontsika hoe then we can understand what
Exactly what their meaning is.
dia fantatritsika hoe inona no tiany ambara.
And the meaning is very simple.
Ny tiany ambara dia tsotra ihany.
And so that leads us to talk about the structure of the book and the genre, you know that? Genre of the book.
Zany dia mitarika antsika hijery ny structure n'ilay boky sy ny genre littéraire an'ity boky ity.
The genre is simply love poems.
Ny genre an'ity poème ity zany dia poésie d'amour.
There are songs of yearning.
Misy hira ny etaeta.
There's songs of teasing.
Hira ny mananiany.
There's admiration.
Hira ny admiration.
And there's also remembrances.
eo ihany koa ny fahatsiarovana.
And in many ways, some of these look like the love poems of ancient Egypt.
Ireto hira ireto dia tena misy itovizana amin'ny poezia an'zareo Egyptianina.
But the love poetry of ancient Egypt that we have is always just collections of small poems.
Fa ny poésie damoran'ny Egyptianina zany dia toujours collection maromaro.
But the difference between, well, I should say, there's also collections of love poetry from Mesopotamia.
Eo ihany koa ny poésie damoro avy any Mesopotamia.
But most of those are supposed to be poems between the gods and the goddesses.
Fa ny akamaroan'ireny poésie ireny dia poésie entre ny Andriamanitra lehilahy sy Andriamanitra vehivavy.
So this is something pretty extraordinary, this long extended dialogue between two human lovers.
Ka ity poésie ananantsika eto ity dia poésie extraordinaire amin'ny entre ny mpifankatia anankiroa.
Now, throughout history, many different people are trying to interpret what this book is.
Zay fandehan'ny tantara dia be dia be ny olona manome sy manao interprétation samihafa momba ny tononkerin'i Solomon.
For example, some of the rabbis of ancient Israel tried to make this a love poem between God and the people of Israel.
Sasany zao tahaka ny rabay dia rabay dia miteny hoe poésie entre an'Andriamanitra sy ny olombelona ity.
And that's called the allegorical view.
Zany dia point de vue allégorique.
And then later in the Christian era, especially with a man named Origen, Origen, with a theologian named Origen, he said, no, this is about the love of Christ for the church.
Taty aoriana kanefa ny misy rangahy antsoina hoe Origin miteny hoe non, ity dia fitiavan'Andriamanitra, love between the church and
Christ. Christ and the church.
Ity dia fitiavan'Andriamanitra, Jesosy Kristy sy ny fiangonana.
And that is simply an attempt to make everything spiritual.
Dia zany anefa dia ezaka mba hampatonga ny soratra ho spirituel.
And we know that the ancient Hebrew writers were very concerned with life on earth.
Ary fantatritsika fa ny Hébreu dia tena concerné tokoa ny amin'ny fiainana eto an-tany.
When we're interpreting the scriptures, we talk about a fancy word called hermeneutics.
Rehefa mi-interpréter soratra masina isika dia misy fomba anaovana azy hermeneutique.
And the first rule of hermeneutics is that it cannot mean to us what it did not mean to them.
Ny première règle amin'ny hermeneutique dia tsy ny hoe zay tiantsika hoe midika zavatra amintsika no dikan'ny soratra zay voasoratra ao zay midika zavatra hafa ho an'zareo mpanoratra tamin'izany mpanandro zany.
And the fact of this story is that it is a human man and a human woman in love with each other.
Ny fantatsika dia ny hoe ny zavatra voasoratra ato dia fitiavan'ilay lehilahy sy ny fitiavan'ilay vehivavy fifankatiavan'izy roa.
Which is a nice thing that the Hebrews did to include such a thing in the Bible.
Ary zavatra tsara ho an'zareo Hébreu nampiditra ity ato amin'ny Baiboly.
Because it is saying that all of our life is represented in the Bible.
Satria midika izany fa ny fiainantsika rehetra olombelona dia voarakitra ato amin'ny Baiboly.
There are examples of what we do when we're in trouble.
Ohatra rehefa inona ny ataontsika rehefa misy sendra ny olana.
The book of Job was saying bad things happen sometimes. How are we going to respond?
Bokin'ny Joba dia manambara amintsika fa zavatra ratsy dia mianjady amintsika ihany koa, ka inona no ataontsika momba izany.
The book of Ecclesiastes told us that things pass away quickly.
Ny boky mitoroteny dia milaza amintsika fa zava-poana zao rehetra zao mandalo daholo ny zavatra rehetra.
The book of Proverbs told us about wisdom and how to get wisdom.
Ny bokin'ny ohabolana dia manambara amintsika ny hoe inona zany fahendrena, ahoana ny azahoantsika fahendrena.
But the Song of Songs tells us this is what real love can look like.
Ary ny tononkirany Solomona dia manambara amintsika sy maneho antsika ny hoe ohatr'izao ny tahaka ohatr'izao ny fomba fisehoany, mety fisehoan'ny fifankatiavana.
And so the poems of the Song of Songs are everything that people in love experience.
Ka ny fifankatiavana ny poezia atao amin'ny tononkirany Solomona dia zavatra experience izay lalovany mpifankatia rehetra.
And it was telling the Hebrew people that it's okay to feel so deeply in love.
Manambara amin'ny Hebreo, vahoaka Hebreo zany fa tsy maninona manana izay emotion matanjaka izay.
And it's okay to tease with each other.
Tsy maninona ny fananiana.
It's okay to talk about your love with other people, with your friends.
Tsy maninona miresaka amin'ny fitiavanao an'ity olona ity amin'olona hafa, amin'ireo namanao.
So that is what we call the historical view.
Zay no antsointsika hoe view historique.
It's about faithfulness.
Momba ny fidélité.
It's about the man and the woman belonging to each other.
Momba ny lahy sy ny vavy izay samy natao hifankatia.
And maybe most importantly, it's about the passion that is in complete agreement with the goodness of creation.
Ary ny zavatra tena important koa aza dia ny hoe ny passion ananan'ny zareo izay congruent amin'ny nature, ny création.
In Genesis, it said that God created all these things and said that it was good.
Any amin'ny Genesis milaza hoe ny Andriamanitra namorona an'izao rehetra zao ary niteny izy fa tsara ny zavatra rehetra.
That the creation of the man and the woman was good.
Fa ny fanamboarana ny lahy sy vavy dia tsara. Andriamanitra tsara.
So their love for each other is good.
Ka ny fifankatiavan'izy roa dia tsara.
It's a book that should make us smile.
Boky izay tokony ampitsiky izany.
We'll take a break.
Pause kely.